Detail, right face. At ease. Please join us with Laura Gillespie singing the national anthem. Detail, present, arm.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we'd hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight and the ramparts we'd watch were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Hope of time to come, and to know that remembering can bring healing. And thus I say in prayer to that which we call by a myriad of names, God, love, source of blessing, mother, father, brother, everlasting friend, the divine, we invoke your presence in and among us this day. Be with us and with the loved ones of our deceased brother in fire service. As we look towards our own death, may we come to know a great truth. Memory is the strongest and most lasting of life's gifts, and that the connections we forge here on earth outlast our human form. And God, may this truth and our memories sustain us and strengthen us in the days and years ahead. And may family and friends be blessed knowing that what they have passed to us remains still. May the memory of moments shared with others, of words spoken, glances, and of touches, of struggles, of visions and dreams striven for and attained be a source of gladness and strength for us. And may we never forget the services rendered, the dedication shared, the commitment achieved, the duties accomplished, and the successes and triumphs realized. And may we be united in a grand and great purpose where the true meaning of life is made more clear, to do our duty with pride and honor, and to remember with praise and thanksgiving. This is our humble prayer, which we raise this day. May it be so. And may this space become a holy and precious place to sit in warm times, and a holy and precious place to drive by, to mark with honor the firefighters, past, present, and future of Lancaster, Massachusetts. I say amen, shalom, blessed be. Peace be with us and this space.
Thank you, Reverend. I want to thank everyone for coming out today, the firefighters, the public, the honor guards, and our local and state officials. I'm going to give you just a brief history of what we came here for today. Back when I was a kid and first joined the fire department, on the other side of the parking lot, there was a big wooden fence. And it used to be the firefighters' monument, which was the rock that you see here. It was all granite curbing, grass, bushes, the flagpole. So when they expanded the sewer district, they put the pumping station there, the rock ended up here in some dirt. So for years we talked about doing something, weren't sure what to do, and then a couple months ago a design was made up. We had a lot of help, donations, and we built this probably in about 3 weeks with some great people. We have some special thanks to give out to Powell Stone and Gravel, C.D. Riley Construction, R. Aldridge Excavating, and Lazaro Paving for some of the work that we've done here. The history of the rock is really unknown. I've asked former Chief Nat Hawkins where the rock came from, because he was instrumental in placing it originally. And I figured because he was the owner of N.C. Hawkins, he probably got it from a job site or his backyard. So every time I ask him where it came from, he tells me it's a long story with a very short ending. And he kind of giggles and walks away. So I don't know where the rock came from, but we wanted that to be the centerpiece of the monument because it was the original monument for the department. Today we're going to dedicate this. We had done a little bit of research, and in 1931 we found that we had a firefighter that died in the line of duty while responding to a fire call when the fire truck rolled over. The second one is the reason why we're doing it today. It was firefighter McNamara that died 10 years ago in the line of duty on this very day. And we're fortunate enough to have his family here, his wife and his daughters. And we're also fortunate enough to find some relatives of firefighter McGee. Through some work with the clerk's office, we found Officer Ed Jeffries of the Clinton Police Department. And his sister Jen is here today with us, so I'm glad they could make it. And next I'd like to introduce, which will we do with the Fire Marshal, Steve Cohen.
Thank you very much, Chief Hanson. And I thank you for asking me to come to Lancaster today to be part of this. I very vividly remember 10 years ago this morning. It's hard to believe it's been 10 years and that much time has passed since that horrible incident in South Lancaster. I've been in the fire service for 44 years, and I have to say that when I think back over that long career, the most trying, the most terrible, the most horrific acts that I have had to go through are those responses to the loss of one of our firefighters. And if you remember 10 years ago, we were still fresh on the loss of the 6 in Worcester and 2 other firefighters. A total of 8 firefighters have been lost in 4 previous years when we came upon this very tragic scene of the death of firefighter McNamara. That morning, we all could see the terrible pain on the face of the Lancaster firefighters. They grieved as they should, but also there was a tremendous response of the fire service from central Massachusetts who came here to help and brought their prayers and brought their firefighters to be able to bring some stability to the terrible scene again at the other end of town. When I think today and remember about that day, like I do almost every time we have a tragedy, is to try to find a silver lining. And with the loss of life, especially the loss of a firefighter, it's very difficult to find that silver lining. But I think I have 2 examples, and I want to speak to them briefly today. The first was, very tragically, there was no statute on the books to provide for the financial support of the widow and families of fallen call firefighters at the time. And through your local legislative delegation, they worked tirelessly with their colleagues to pass a piece of legislation. That legislation is commonly known today as the Marty McNamara Bill. And it's the Marty McNamara Bill because it was upon his tragic loss of life that correction was made to our statutes. And so as we move forward over the last 10 years, and we've had other tragedies, it's somewhat comforting to know, I think to all of us, that the one silver lining of this tragic incident was that we now can provide that financial support to families of our fallen heroes. Secondly is that one of my duties is to run the state fire training academies. And we conduct each year recruit training programs for call and volunteer firefighters all across the state. We'll be graduating 2 of those coming up in late December, but about every 4 months to 6 months we do graduation ceremonies. And after the loss of Marty McNamara, it was suggested to us that we create an award, a recognition of the student of the class, and name that the Marty McNamara Award. So each time one of these graduation ceremonies take place, a student is called forward along with his or her chief, and we talk about Marty McNamara's sacrifice and what it meant. And it's a remembrance in our way at the Department of Fire Services of trying to hold close his memory in our hearts and honor the sacrifice that he made that very tragic day. So thank you, Chief, again for having me, and to Claire and to Marty McNamara Sr. and to all the family members. We will never forget. Thank you.
Thank you, Marshall. And next, Stanley Starr and Susan Smiley from the Board of Selectmen.
Good afternoon and welcome to the town of Lancaster. It's my honor to be able to represent the Board of Selectmen and this great honor that we're about to have bestowed on our firefighters for the dedication of this memorial. We're here to honor the memory of volunteers who serve our town, and particularly that of Marty McNamara, who paid the ultimate sacrifice. The McNamara family for many, many years has been very much involved with their communities, volunteering. I know many of them personally. Today is a very melancholy day. It conjures up some very difficult memories. But one thing it should hopefully also show is the epitome of the people who are here today, showing the pride and the involvement of the community, as we are of all of the folks who stand before you to help our town be safe. It was very fitting that this day falls within Thanksgiving, once again in recognition of all the work our volunteers do in keeping us safe through a public safety avenue. This memorial site will hopefully serve to remind everyone of the many individuals who serve our community, and we can reflect upon that one. We honor and remember our fallen members. We thank our current members that are here before us. Thank you.
Thank you. Representative Naughton.
Thank you, Chief. Chief, Marshall,
Clergy, fellow elected officials,
and friends. Friends from Clinton and Lancaster and further beyond. As we celebrate this weekend, this Thanksgiving weekend, this most American of holidays, where we're called upon to give thanks for all we're given, I'm going to respectfully suggest the best way to continue to honor Marty's memory, Firefighter McGee's memory, is by continuing to show respect for those volunteers, for the professional firefighters, for all of those emergency personnel in our community, but all of the people in our community that step up to create a great way of life where we live. It was nice of the Marshal to mention the McNamara Act. As I look back on 20 years in the legislature, this is a piece of legislation that I'm most proud of passing, but I'm most sad about that it had to pass. But that wouldn't have been done without the help of a lot of people that are here in this audience today to right a wrong, and to use that right to honor the memory of a gentleman who gave all. You grow up in a town like Clinton or a town like Lancaster, and you're always brought up to think that you're part of something bigger than yourself. A community larger than yourself. Marty was brought up that way. And that's why he was willing to do what he did. That's why all of these men and women are willing to do what they do, because of the community that they were brought up in. On April 15th, it was brought home to people in our communities that run towards catastrophe as opposed to away from it. But we shouldn't need an event like April 15th to honor the service and sacrifice of those that go quietly around us on a daily basis to keep us safe. Let's use Marty's example. Let's use this Thanksgiving weekend to continue to honor that example. A lot of discussion in our country today as to whether or not there's a commonality of purpose or a sense of shared sacrifice that we've seen in the past, during the Second World War, after 9/11. When people ask that question, I point them towards Lancaster, Massachusetts. And I point them towards the memory of Marty McNamara. And I tell them to look at the actions of the people in this community. And they'll know, people remember. And people place a very high premium on the sacrifice that have been made to bring us here today. Thank you.
Thank you, Harold. And Senator Flanagan.
Thank you, Marshall, for being here, and my colleagues in the House. And thank you, everyone, for being here the day after Thanksgiving, at a time when we spent time with our families yesterday giving thanks for what we have and the blessings that we have. You know, one of the securities that we have in life is that if we're in trouble, we can call people to come help us. And that's exactly why we stand here today, because we honor two men who gave their lives. And 10 years ago, when we had voted on the McNamara bill, I can remember many of you sitting in the gallery as we took the vote. And as we were pressing those buttons and you saw the boards light up in green, I don't think there was anyone standing there who hadn't spoken about Marty, who hadn't talked to his family, or hadn't talked about Lancaster, and how important it was that we take care of the family members that are left behind when the ultimate sacrifice is made. There are times that we think about places like this as memorials, and we come here on cold days, that this rock and this benches are going to provide years of opportunities for family to come and talk about those that have given their lives, where people can gather in the community to talk about the fire service and how important it is that they have what they need to make sure that they can protect us in a time when we need it. But also for our children. If you look around and see many of the kids here today, many of them were not even born when this happened. That we can bring them here and talk about the sacrifices that the men and women of the fire services make each and every day. I'm very fortunate in Leominster to have an office that's across the street from our headquarters, and I can't tell you the number of times I can hear the trucks leave the station, wondering where they're going, wondering what they're going towards, and hoping that they'll come back each and every time to their families. So it's with a heavy heart that we're here today, but we also want to thank the McNamara family because they gave us someone in this town who cared so deeply for each and every one that he went running when that call was made. Thank you for being here today.
Thank you. Claire.
Always remember to say these 5 words. On Saturday, November 29, 2003, my life and many others was changed forever. In the early hours of the morning, I laid in my warm bed with my husband Marty, snuggled up to each other. Our 2 daughters fast asleep upstairs. We had a simple life. A good home. We both loved our jobs. We loved our 2 girls more than anything in the world. Marty had a true passion to help others. He had always dreamed of becoming a firefighter. He was living his dream. No matter how hot or cold it was outside, if it was a holiday, if it was the middle of the night, the middle of dinner, a birthday party, you name it. Once that fire tone went off, Marty was off and running. He had no fear of entering a burning building, aiding in a motor vehicle accident, saving a cat from a tree, turning off a fire alarm, whatever the task was. He was there and ready to work. between the hours of Friday, November 28th, Marty's 31st birthday, and Saturday, November 29th, were no different for Marty. He had already responded to 2 calls, and the third one came in. He jumped out of bed, eager as ever to go to work. We were anxiously awaiting the birth of our 3rd child, Sunday, November 30th. We couldn't wait to see if we have a son, Martin the 6th, or another daughter. No matter what the sex of our baby was, we didn't care. We were just eager to say hello, hold you tight, and love you forever. Never in my wildest dreams did I ever think I was going to be saying goodbye. The past 10 years have been the hardest thing I've ever had to do. My worst nightmare had come true. I could never imagine my life without you. How do I ever find the words or answers to explain to our 3 girls what happened to you? How do I find the right words to comfort them when they are crying because their dad will never dance or walk them down the aisle when they get married? What words do I use when your daughter Marty asks me if you ever held her? I met you September 1986. You sat in back of me in math class. You were so mean to me. My boyfriend wanted to kick your... You pinched my arm, left it black and blue. 2 months later, instead of pulling my hair and pinching my arm, you were holding my hand, telling me that you loved me. This was just the beginning of our lives together. I always knew from the first day that we became Marty and Claire, it would be forever. You had an infectious way about you that drew people to you. You had more than just personality. You loved to make people laugh and always knew how. You loved to be the center of attention and you owned the dance floor. You loved to dress up. You enjoyed spending time with your family and friends. But most of all, you appreciated life. Every morning before you would leave for work, you would kiss me, say goodbye, I love you, have a good day. As I would mumble words back to you, you would say, thank God for another beautiful day. Your time with us was way too short. Your kids miss you more than you could ever imagine. You have taught me so many things while you were here and continue to teach me today. My strength comes from the love we have for each other. You are not only my husband, you are my best friend, my soulmate, my strength. You are a true hero. You are the bravest man who sacrificed everything for someone else's American dream while you lost your American dream. You are sadly missed by Molly, Elizabeth, Marty, your dad, Mom, Kristen, Erin, and so many more. You have made a lasting impression on every person you have come in contact with. I love you to the moon and back. I thank God for the last 5 words I said to you Saturday, November 29th. Be safe. I love you.
Thank you, Claire.
Attention, detail. Armed. Present. Armed.
Wreath bearers. Three pairs of layer wreaths, one for firefighter McNamara, and one for firefighter McGee. Flag detail from the belt. In the fire service, it is tradition to ring the fives. The fives are a symbol of the all clear of the fire. Everyone has returned home and everyone is safe. Today we strike the fives for firefighter McGee and firefighter McNamara, because they are now home and they are safe. Detail. That concludes the official dedication of the monument. I invite all of you up to take a look at it, and there are refreshments and coffee inside the firehouse. Thank you all for coming.